Hey guys, I'm Charlie from Vision, otherwise known by Cardweeb online, and I recently placed second at Cardfight Con's OverDress'd Invitational. Before we get further into the video, I just want to give a quick shout out to Cardfight Con and their staff for hosting and planning this event. We couldn't have done it without them, and they made an amazing event for all these content creators and pro players to play in, and I had a blast playing in that tournament. Anyways, on to the video. So first, I want to talk about my tournament experience as well as how Cardfight Con came to be and partnered with Vision, and then I want to roll a short montage that I made with my greatest moments from the stream. It's a little bit short because I wasn't on stream too many times, or at least too many good moments on stream. And then finally, I want to go over my deck list and my deck choices and explain one of the clips that happened, especially that first clip. That first clip is a little weird. Okay, look, before I move on with the video, I just want to say 72% of our viewers are not subscribed to the Cardfight Vision channel. So if you're not subscribed and you're watching this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Back to the video. Before I talk about my tournament experience, I just want to talk a little bit about how Cardfight Con and the Invitational came to fruition. So essentially, from our side, from Vision's side, Sean / Winning Image / the host of Cardfight Con, if you will, came up to me in my Discord DMs. Literally said, "Do you want to help out with us?" And then he called me out of nowhere. Like, I don't know what's up with that. You just called me and said, "Hey, work with us." So I guess I agreed, right? Because I mean, we're here. We help power the con, I guess. Anyways, the whole team was on board and we wanted to plan this event with them, so that's what we did. We planned it, we hosted it, we got our commentators, we got their commentators, we trained all of them, we got our participants, which actually took a little while for some reason. I don't know why it took a while to get a list of participants that we could have, even though we have like a lot of content creators and organizations that we could ask, but it took a little while. And then, you know, just as we were planning, it felt like time was moving by so fast. Already it was the week right before the con was going to happen. And then it happened. Because we're helping out, Sean said, "Hey, one of your Vision members can participate." So I was like, "Oh, cool, okay." So we contacted our admin, Casey, otherwise known as, I don't know, he goes by a lot of names. Cross and Sins, as you see him on Twitch, or Seraphim. In the Discords, he goes by lots of names. Anyways, he was supposed to originally play, but then life happened and he couldn't play. So then he asked me at first, which I said, "Please, maybe you should pick someone else. I'm fine with playing, but you know, I have horrible luck." I didn't know those words were like the lie of this century, but that's what I said, and then he just stuck with me. Ignoring that, we go into the tournament, we start playing, and round one, there's a bit of stream issues. Unfortunately. So I had to stall my game and help out with stream, troubleshoot for a few rounds. When I mean a few rounds, I mean I troubleshooted a little bit. I played my round and then troubleshooted more. Played my next round, troubleshooted more. Played my last round, troubleshooted more. Anyways, you get the point. I just troubleshooted a lot while playing, which honestly shouldn't have happened. I probably shouldn't have played, but here we are, you know, second place. I'll take it, I guess. Okay, let's ignore the issues for now, right? Let's talk about how I did in the tournament. Round one, I go against Jesus Herrera. Why? Why am I going against the 2017 world champion round one? The man who's known for sacking quad triggers on Ganslot with the stand at the very end and his opponent being 5k off of guarding it. I go against this guy. Round one, I just thought I was going to lose. So in this tournament, he was using Nirvana with the new Festival Collection Grade 1, which I found was a bit weird because Set 2 didn't come out yet, you know, with Elgar where you kind of need the soul. But besides that, I was like, what's going on? He's hard rushing me. He actually critted me on turn 1 and turn 2. So I was already at 4 damage going in, and then I over-trigger him, and I swung the game back somehow. I don't know. I just sacked him. That's all I can say. I over-triggered him, and then on my final turn, I sacked him. I'm so sorry, Jesus. I didn't mean to beat you that way, but I don't know. It was an honor to play against you. I just didn't want to beat you that way, since you didn't see your over-trigger, I think. So, I'm sorry. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry. But I beat Jesus Herrera round 1, right? That's pretty good. Yeah? Round 2. I go against Outer Orange, a fellow content creator. She streams a lot. on Twitch. Cardfight Vanguard, Genshin, I forgot what else she does. She just does a variety of things. And I go against her. A mirror match, of all things. A mirror match with, I think, like, a little weird of a deck list for Zorga, but a mirror match nonetheless. The game is literally sack fest. We both sack. I don't know how. We both sack super hard. I don't understand how, like, a mirror match can sack that hard going both ways. Anyways, I got an over-trigger on defensive, and then that shut down her turn, and then I kind of killed her the next turn because over-trigger on defensive, you know. I could have got that turn anyways, even without an over-trigger, any trigger in general. It was a blow to the face. It was like salt on the wound. It wasn't pretty. Round 3. This is where I'm on stream for the first time, by the way. Round 3. I go against WCC Albert, who is known for being a head judge at Bushiroad events, and also a really good player, because, you know, he's part of WCC. This guy's playing Bastion, of course. Granted, it is one of the best decks in the format, and he's from a competitive organization, so it makes sense. Go against Bastion. I go first. I get to grade 3. I see all 4 of my heals by grade 2 already, so I thought I'm going to lose. 3 heals in my hand, 1 heal in my damage zone. I thought I was legit going to lose. I attack Vanguard. He says no guard. He's at 2 damage because I rushed him early. Crit, over trigger. I go back down to 1 because I'm at 2. Give crit Vanguard power to rear. He doesn't have a PG in hand. He goes to 6. He dies. That was the fastest game on stream. Literally the fastest game of that whole tournament, actually. It ended when I was on grade 3 and he was on grade 2. And it honestly felt bad to sack and over-trigger on a very good player. And I just ended the game right there because of luck. Because of 1 card in my deck. I don't understand how I do this, honestly. I hit over-trigger every single round. People could call it a rigged thing, you know? I rigged it, sacking over trigger every... I don't understand. I don't understand, man. Just, first Jesus Herrera, and now WCC Albert. I'm sorry, guys. I sack OTs too much. Anyways, that was it, right? Since this is 16 people in a double elimination bracket, I'm now in winners finals, which is day 2, so I get to just chill. I get chill. Losers bracket still has their matches, but I get to chill until day 2. So then I just watch the matches with the other participants, and, you know, we just all hang out in a call and we talk about the matches. It's a really fun time. We just, you know, started roasting each other. Day 2 comes. Winners finals. I'm going against Erik, Vanguard Insider, using Nirvana. I'm like, okay, I beat Nirvana earlier against Jesus. I should be fine. I didn't hit over-trigger this man once. Not even once. I guarded with it once. That's it. I just didn't see it at all against him. I went 1-2 and lost. Now I'm losers finals. So I was hoping whoever was in losers semis, which was winning image versus living proof, Magnolia versus Bruce. I was hoping to play against Living Proof because Proof is a slower deck than Magnolia, right? I was like low-key scared because Sean, aka Winning Image, when we were testing week before, he kind of high-rolled me. I didn't like that. He high-rolled the heck out of me, and I just kind of sat there and took it all and went to like 5 or 4 damage on turn 2. I didn't like that. So I just didn't want to play against him. So I was rooting for Proof the entire time. It was a really close match. Guess who won? Winning Image. Now I have to fight the Magnolia player that I don't want to fight against. You know, I don't think that's a good matchup. Especially when Sean rolls the dice and goes first. Good thing it's a best of 3, but he goes first. As Magnolia. Against Zorga. Which is a slower deck. I was mauling. Anyways, I lost the first game because he over-triggered me while he was on grade 3 and I was on grade 2 and I kind of just died on the inside. I couldn't really come back because when I used Agony, I got my over-trigger and I didn't have Ghost Chase anymore, so I couldn't really bounce it back to hand, so I kind of just gave up that game. Game 2, I was feeling defeated, okay? I thought that I could not win this anymore because he went first in a best of 3. Usually that means you win. So you know what I decided to do? I decided to just like hard rush. But why not, right? I'm going to lose anyways. Why not try to counter rush Magnolia? So I'm going first because I lost, of course. And I rushed this man. I dropped my whole hand. Not literally, but I dropped almost my whole hand. I use condensation on turn 2 when you're not supposed to, but you know, it's more aggressive. And I managed to kill him because I defensive checked an over trigger on my first damage. Actually, no, that didn't really do anything. I double defensive checked on this man's almost kill turn. Almost. I was at 2 damage, but he had pretty big units. And then, yeah, no, I mean, he couldn't really get past the 33k base, and I got a front trigger, so my rear guards are 20k. And then I killed him in the next turn because he was such high damage, and he didn't get anything from his hand. Even though he had Gnozla, you know, I did a 1 to pass, so he had to put power on Vanguard, so he couldn't Gnozla me, which was good. You know, that's a spicy play. Anyways, game 3 comes, right? It's his time to go first again. Again, Magnolia going first in the best of 3 is scary. Especially when the first game is him going first. So this game 3, he's going first. It's freaking Magnolia. I'm freaking out on the inside. I'm like, this... I might be able to do this because I outrushed him going first. I don't know if I can outrush him going second. So I just pray. I just hard mulligan for rush pieces. You know what I get? I actually get rush pieces. Thank you, deck. I love you, deck. Anyways, he goes on his turn. I go on my turn. I rush the heck out of him. Because I just have a lot of cards in my hand that I can call in turn 1. I actually called on a PG that stayed there for the entire game. Because I knew I was never going to PG anything. There's no point in PGing something that wouldn't get big anyways, right? You just need a chump card. So I called a PG behind my Vanguard, and it just acted as an extra like 6k buff that actually made a difference because he has to drop an extra 5k to guard it. So that was, I think I was pretty big brain, right? No, not really. It was standard. But I kept dropping PGs from my discards. I kept throwing them away. Eventually, it led to me accumulating my hand with triggers so I can actually chump guard stuff. And so, I actually outrushed Magnolia with Zorga. It was a great time. Am I too much of a sacker? Since, you know, I also hit defensive overtrigger that game as well. Maybe I should stop playing in tournaments. Anyways. I finally redeemed myself. People are calling that Redemption Finals instead of Losers Finals. I love it. I love the name, Redemption Finals. We go into Grand Finals against Vanguard Insider again because he won against me earlier in Winners Finals. We battle it out. I told him I'd use a different strategy this time. He was like, okay. He didn't know what it was, but I said I'd try a different strategy. That strategy was rush. I rushed the heck out of him. He discarded arcs because he didn't know I was going to rush him. And then he just died because he didn't have enough card draw. Game 2, he knows what I'm doing, so he kind of adapted, and I died because I kept checking orders, and I don't think 4 orders on your opponent's grade 3 turn is that great. You know, 4 orders in your hand, 2 cards to actually guard with, I don't think that's great. I mean, who thinks that's great? I don't know, not me. Game 3, this is where it all comes down to the wire, because I'm going first. I have the slight edge in this matchup. I try to rush him hard. He doesn't have arcs on turn 2, which is amazing for me. He played normal Virina on turn 2. I just hard rush him. I push him to 4. And then this happens. Triple Valiente is all I need to say. This man played triple Valiente on 1 card. What am I supposed to do at that point? What is this? It's a 28k Valiente. What do I do? You know what I do? I take the hit so he discards a card, and I try to kill him the next turn, and then it turns out he has 2 PGs, and I would have died anyways unless I hit a crit. 3 games, alright? All 3 of our games. It has come down to a 1 to pass on our Vanguards. I hit the crit once, and then the other 2 times I didn't hit anything. What am I supposed to do? It's a 1 to pass. I should be hitting triggers, right? Okay, so I didn't kill him that turn. I looked at my drop zone. 3 heals were left in my deck. 3 heals. Plus maybe an overtrigger. I forgot if there was an overtrigger left in my deck. But I had 3 heals in my deck. I know for sure if he doesn't hit a crit and I hit a heal, I can survive that turn and straight up kill him because he doesn't have any more PGs in his hand. I didn't hit any heals. I had like, what, 9 cards left in deck? 3 heals left in deck? I don't know how I didn't hit a heal. I went through my deck, 2 of my heals were at the bottom. Man, I really suck at shuffling, huh? Anyways, that was my experience with the tournament. You know, it was pretty good. I think it was a really good experience for the rest of the participants as well. Ignoring that some of them may have went 0-2 and had to get kicked from the tournament because that's how a double elimination works. But otherwise, I think it was a good experience. Maybe besides the fact that I had to wake up at 5:30 a.m. every morning. But I think it was a good experience. So, after this, I just want to highlight a few of my hypest moments on stream in this tournament. And for sure, the commentary of these clips is amazing. Maybe except one clip, just because I didn't notice it. But, let's roll it.
Actually, looking at the... So Zorga's kind of be able to finally go on the offensive again. He's looking to retire his units, counterblasting, calling it back out. Wait, what? Am I missing something?
Yes, Charlie's big braining 5-head. Let's go.
Holy shit. He's trying to mill that to deck, baby.
20 pulls it, critical, getting critical.
Sounds like 2 damage.
Power to Adrena, second check. Critical trigger.
What a god. Yo, what a gaze. And Sean's out here going to be going straight for the 23k swing. Going to be having absolutely none of it. Charlie sat there, putting the crit down, going 1 to passing me. And Sean is getting the critical trigger. It's a front and a crit, the double trigger. What a god. Holy crap. This man has no chill. Making 5k all over the board in a triangle pattern. It appears the man thinks he's playing Link Joker. He is trying to triangle lock himself. But the reverse. He's giving himself power this time. And he's going back and he's going for a critical trigger. Telling Sean nothing matters in the front. What a god gamer. Sean gets... But no matter what happens, I'm going to get that double overdress on turn 3. So he's going to start... Oh no, he just plays the Ghost Chase. Adds a card to his hand. It's a critical trigger to the Vanguard. In second check, oh, looks like that was nothing as far as I can tell. Over trigger ripped! Charlie, the absolute gods.
Alphonse, I want to talk about this. This is something I've been seeing a lot of Zorga players do. Playing Mantis in their builds. Bumping the powers even more. What's your take on that?
I think with the Mantis, you just gotta love that 5k boost because you're technically adding 13k power to a column, 8k with your Mantis. Oh! Okay.
All right.
Well,
I was saving this topic for later, but you know, the curse of best of one is over triggered and GG.
Yeah, that you don't. Oh goodness, that's rude. That's really rude. Yeah, that's oh my word.
Over trigger and GG.
Yeah.
It's deck profile time! So, I just laid out my deck list real quick for those of you who just want like a quick glimpse at it. The main differences are like 2 Elenia, 1 Hush Dragon, I play 5 front, my Ghost Chaser at 2 instead of 3, and GDR's at 4 instead of 3. That's really the only things I can think of that are different from a normal conventional build. But if that's all you're looking for, then you got it. Anyways, what I liked about this deck, right, since I play, of course, 5 front, is that I can be a little more aggressive. So that led me to think, okay, so I want to play pieces that I can aggro with at, you know, a semi-high rate. So stuff like Mantis, Condensation, both at max, though they're at max anyways. But then the interesting came to me when I went to my Elenia and Hush Dragon ratios. Because half the time, I wanted Hush Dragon for after turn 3. But then the other half of the time, I'd want Elenia for before turn 3. And so I just thought, hey, why not try and find a balance with them? So 1 Hush Dragon in my right deck, 1 in my main deck, and then 2 Elenias in my main deck, which allows for me to, if I ever want to, play out 2 Hush Dragon, or early game play out Elenia as long as I see her. Or, you know, if I, for some reason, don't Ranker Chain on turn 1, I can double Elenia if my opponent crits me. And with that has brought me to the decision of playing only 2 Ghost Chase. Because, to me, I like to play aggro. So I rarely call down triggers because the deck doesn't draw that much. So you kind of need to keep your triggers in hand so that you can guard. So I put Ghost Chase down to 2 only because I found it a bit clunky while trying to play aggro. Because the only thing you try to bounce is stuff like Mantis, Elenia, maybe sometimes Adrena if you want to save her. And that's about it. I guess like Zorga if you call him out, but usually won't call out Zorga unless it's the only thing you can call out. But Ghost Chase down at 2 just felt a little more comfortable for me. Of course, since he's down at 2, you don't really see the card too often. And also, if you don't get a Ghost Chase and your Agony has like 3 triggers and an over trigger, then it kind of sucks, I guess. But other than that, since this is more of an aggro deck, I'd like to play defensive cards as low as possible. At least as low as the deck allows me to, while still keeping that defensive power so I can actually survive the next turn. So with that aggro game plan, I also bumped GDR up to 4 as you can see here, just because I like to loop that 10k buff. And usually when I play, if my Vanguard is hitting over, I think 23k already, 23k or more, I don't put the buff on him at all. I don't want to put the buff on him. I'd like to make my rear guards more threatening. So what I usually do with GDR is I put power onto one column and then the third 10k onto the other column. So one column will have plus 20k, one column will have plus 10k, and usually my Vanguard's at 23 already or something like that, so I don't need to put 10k on it. Since for the most part, your opponent will be banking on a 2 to pass, or they'll be PGing it. I mean, sometimes a 1 to pass, right? But like your rear guards are more threatening because people are almost guaranteed to at some point PG your Vanguard, even though it's the smallest number on board. So I thought, there's not really a reason to put 10k on Vanguard unless it's hitting under 23k. So that was my thought process with GDR, and of course, like for the rest of the deck, it's pretty standard. The reason why I play Mantis is just because for the on-place skill, since I can abuse that with stuff like Elenia, Condensation, Zorga skill, Agony. So it's just a really nice card to have in your drop zone, even like all 4 copies. You want all 4 copies in your drop zone so you can keep calling it back and abusing it. And also Chain Ranker doesn't do it for me unless it's the only card that I can call out. It doesn't really do too much for me since it's a 10k booster in a deck with a bunch of 10ks. So I think like that 2k difference does not matter too much. And Mantis gives another card plus 5k. So it makes a little more sense to call out Mantis than Chain Ranker, even though it's a constant 2k. The only way I would find it useful is if I call out Zorga somehow. In some way. I just call out Zorga and then Chain Ranker is worthwhile. Otherwise, I think Mantis is just a better card in this deck. Ironically enough, my most common Alchemagic play was Agony plus GDR. I have no idea how I saw Agony more than Condensation, since I would usually mill Condensation off of Agony. I don't know, man. It just happened. So what I would do early game is I pitch Agony first, and then I draw into GDR somehow, and then when I go into Hutch Dragon, I ditch GDR, get Agony back to hand. Of course, since you want the full effect of GDR, you want to play Agony first. And since if you don't play Elenia, you can still play Agony plus GDR. Or if you have Hendrina in hand, of course you want to play with Hendrina, but you usually can fulfill the Soul Blast 2 for Agony already, and your board gets, I think it's like plus 40 in total, 10 from Agony, 30 from GDR, so your board's pretty beefy at that point. Plus, if you have any extra counterblast, you use Zorga's skill to revive anything, because of course Agony mills 2 cards. So it was a really common play for whatever reason, but I think it helped push columns just because it's 2 powerful orders on turn 3. And it helped sustain my board, help build it, help push big numbers and damage to my opponent early on. I mean, the only time it wouldn't help is, you know, if you call down 2 triggers, but that rarely happens. We never saw that. We're good players here. So, I just want to explain my clip playing right here of my Hendrina mill after my Agony play. I didn't show the Agony part because the clip would have been a little too long, but essentially I played what I said I did. So I played Agony with GDR, and then I killed Hendrina, called her back, and milled top 3. The reason why I did that was because in top 4, I saw 3 triggers in an order from Agony. So I called on 2 triggers, of course, and then I pitched the other trigger and the order. So what I essentially thought was, okay, top 4, three triggers in that top 4. There's no way I'm going to hit a trigger stack after I see that. There's no way there's a like huge clump of triggers right there. So what I thought was, okay, I know normally in these situations you don't use Hendrina. But from what I experienced, like playing on my locals, playing in general, is that after I see a top 4 with a lot of triggers from Agony, that my drive checks will usually be bad. So I thought, hey, let me just mill with Hendrina. By the way, this is the first time I've ever done this play. This is the first time. So I thought, hey, let me kill Hendrina, call her back, mill top 3. I see a heal but 2 blanks. I'm like, okay, that's actually really good for me. And then I proceed to crit my opponent. It was great. I'm so sorry, Sean. Like you were most of the montage. If you guys didn't know, Winning Image Sean, check him out. Please do. Hosted Cardfight Con. I'm so sorry that you're most of the sacking montage. I just couldn't find anything else I was on streaming because my games from day one didn't get streamed besides Albert. I'm also sorry, Albert. I did not mean to kill you that way. Anyways, this is it for my deck profile. It's a little weird compared to the conventional build, but I do think it works out for my own personal playstyle. I do want to give a quick shout out to Franz from Vision, as he gave me the template for this deck and helped me improve on this deck. And funnily enough, the extra husk right here, this used to be an Alania, and I switched it out right before the tournament. And I just found it to be very useful, having that second husk, or if I couldn't Soul Blast, having that husk in my drop zone so I could call it back. And it was very nice. And that's it. Thanks for watching the video. I actually spent the last few days after the con just to compile a few clips that I wanted to show off, made that montage, made deck profile, and all that. This was actually my first time using Premiere Pro to edit. And I'm really proud of how I made this video. It just took a lot of learning to do, and many hours of just watching back my footage and seeing where I could apply edits and all that. Yeah, I'm really proud of making this. If you do like our content, please do subscribe to the Cardfight Vision channel. Make sure to check out all the other content creator videos that I've linked within this video, as they are amazing as well, and I cannot thank them enough for being good participants, match opponents, and just great friends all around. So yeah, that's it. See you around.